Today I'll be explaining the backstory of Ignited Bonnie. Make sure to subscribe and like to never miss a video. Ignited Bonnie or Bonnie is one of the 4 main antagonists of the Joy of Creation franchise, and is a member of the Ignited. He is one of the 3 secondary antagonists of the Joy of Creation and the Joy of Creation, Reborn. He is also the tertiary antagonist of Bedroom and Living Room, and the quaternary antagonist of Office, and is the one of the 4 overarching secondary antagonists in the Joy of Creation story mode, before assimilating into creation for the 5th and final memory, Attic, and becoming the only titular antagonist of the franchise, due to becoming unstable from Scott Cawthon's actions in Office. Appearance: Ignited Bonnie looks like a more decrepit version of Withered Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What very dirty little suit Ignited Bonnie still has bears the appearance of a blue rabbit. Like Withered Bonnie, the front part of his face appears to have been ripped out, including a majority of the endoskeleton head, but leaving the lower jaw appears to be intact. His left arm is completely gone, and a mess of wires is in its place. Ignited Bonnie is missing the suit parts of his entire torso and the right arm, exposing the endoskeleton. On his chest, he still has his red bow tie. Ignited Bonnie is also missing the suit of his lower right leg and left foot, a detail shared with Withered Bonnie. Half of his right ear is gone as well, similarly to Springtrap from Nights at Freddy's 3. His eyes are only red pinpricks in the empty sockets of what's left of his head. The only differences between his design in the Joy of Creation and his revival design The Joy of Creation, Reborn are the rigging of his model and his glaringly empty pupils. Out of all of the Ignited Bonnie appears to be in the worst condition. Though he is not as decrepit as Ignited Foxy when it comes to overall appearance, most of his endoskeleton is exposed much more, but he has lost less limbs than the other members, other than half of a single ear and arm, being surpassed by only Ignited Foxy. History: The Joy of Creation Ignited Bonnie will start out of view in the hallway behind the left doorway. After a 25 seconds or so, he will slowly open the door. He will make a little creaking sound while opening the door. If you are too slow at flashing the light at him, then he will instantly kill the player. This behavior is also shared by Ignited Freddy and Ignited Chica. The Joy of Creation, Reborn free roam test: Ignited Bonnie's red eyes are not seen within the glowing eyes of the other Ignited animatronics. His dark silhouette can be seen very faintly, with only his red pupils flashing. Ignited Bonnie appears to be the most aggressive and active out of the Ignited. Ignited Bonnie is the only animatronic active during Basement, Ignited Bonnie, and is significantly faster than Ignited Freddy. The glow of his red eyes and the thumps of his feet warn you when he is approaching. When you see or hear him, you must run until you are far enough away from Ignited Bonnie. If he is chasing the player, turning as many corners as possible while running will slow him down slightly. Ignited Bonnie will begin to chase the player as soon as they enter his line of sight. However, because Bonnie's running speed is immense, only surpassed by Ignited Chica and Ignited Foxy, both escape, and the ability to outrun him is virtually impossible at close quarters, though at a lesser degree of Ignited Foxy, unless if the player is directly next to walls during Ignited Bonnie's pursuit, which will cause him to temporarily halt and back away in this scenario if Ignited Bonnie nears the player enough, making his pursuit easy to escape, though it can't always work all of the time, so this has to be taken more cautiously in order to avoid death. His jump scare is very intense because he punches the player in the face, evidently with lots of force as determined by the sound of the thump the impact makes, which is enough to kill people off a single hit.